Hello, welcome to It's AM underscore garage here. I am going to be doing a review on MX bikes. I'm going to be doing a review in its current state right now. It is currently February 2020. Um, I believe this game is still in beta. The beta is like 15B, I think, which upgraded physics and stuff. Um, This game, for really what it is in its beta state, is an amazing game. It's really realistic, has really good physics. Um, I would recommend to everybody that's in love with motocross, enduro, supercross, and like straight rhythm. There's many different things you can do here. You got all these tracks. Of course, I have modded tracks, as you can tell. You usually don't have this many, but down to the track physics and the track getting worn down is very realistic, and I would it's it it even like um, when you drive or not drive, you ride the track. Um, the roots get deeper and deeper, and it gets to be a little challenge later if you just keep practicing. Um, you can race in multiplayer lobbies, um, but mostly it's going to be modded bikes using the OEM pack kit, which is very common. You basically need that, and plus it's really fun to use because that gives you all your Hondas and stuff, which I'll show you later. Um, and plus you'll have all these modded tracks and stuff. You'll you'll sometimes have the original tracks and stuff shown up here, but it'll mostly be servers with modded tracks, which you could see if I wanted to install Muddy Creek 2015. It will have that little asterisk right there, and I could just go on to the MX Bikes forum, and I could find that modded map on there and download it. I will show how to download a modded map and some bikes later in the video, but I'm just going to be showing you the interface, some gameplay, and all that stuff, just so you can get a feel of how this game is if you want to buy it in 2021 and all that. Um, I will show um, my settings because it is based off of another YouTuber's settings that I've used since day one. Since I've got this game, I've been playing this game for 2.5 months now. Um, it's really fun, very addicting, and it's for sure a learning curve, but you can learn it with the right settings and all that stuff. So I will show you my settings and I can show you some more. Alrighty, I'll be showing you my settings here. Um, I am using a Xbox One controller that seems to suit me the best. And if you have an Xbox One controller or even a PS4 controller or whatever controller you want to use, these controls will basically be universal. So you got your lean, so that will be your left stick. That will mostly be your steering and all that. Um, I will show you my sensitivities later on. You got your throttle, which is the right trigger. My front brake is set up to my left trigger. My rear brake is set to A. That's how I personally like it. Um, Disclaimer, you can change these however you feel comfortable. These are just personally my settings that I feel comfortable with. Later on, I will show you um, what you kind of need to do for this type of simulator. I have my clutch as my left upper bumper. My rider lean, this is forward and backward. This will be your left stick. There's a video on YouTube that you can set your steering and leaning as the same joystick, but I personally don't like that. I like to have control over my rider manually. Uh, so I have my forward and backward lean set to my right stick, and the same goes for my left and right. I can move it all throughout this box, as you can see in the bottom right. And yeah, that just shows you how to set that up there. Um, these are my settings for direct lean. I have it at 20%. I don't run combined brakes. I like to manually tap my brakes when I go through corners and stuff. My minimum is 8%. My maximum is 100%. My lean settings. You can pause this video if you need to write these down or just put them into your settings. My lean is at, for the dead zone, is at 10%. Linearity is at 95%. Press, 0. Release, 0. My gain is 80.6%. And my force feedback strength is at 25%. And I don't run reverse or rumble. For my throttle controls, I think it's all the stock ones, but I'll just run through it. Or you could just pause the video to follow along. Dead zone 0, linearity 100%, press 0, release 0, gain 100%. Brake, same thing. Rear brake, I don't believe it's changed, but it's 0, 100%, 30, 10%, 100%. Clutch 0, 100, 50, 5, and 100. My lean, I do think it's different, so I'll run through this. This is for my forward and backward. 0, 100, 0, 0, and 100. This is for my left and right lean. This is 0, 100, 0, 0, 100. Then again, these are my settings, so you can play around with these. If you do not feel comfortable with these, that's perfectly fine. But for beginners and stuff, I just wanted to give you those settings for now. For input 2, these are some other settings that couldn't fit on that first page. My shift up and down, my shift up is B, and my shift down is X. That's how I personally like it. You can change it to however. I have preload on. Not specific. I'm not for sure what that does, but I think it just kind of makes a feeling difference in when you're shifting, and I personally like having it on. My starter, you don't really need to use too much of your starter button, so I left that as my keyboard button. My push bike, this will help you push your bike forward or backward for if you're stuck like on the side of the track, or you just need to move back at the whole shot. So I set that as W and S, so W for forward, S for backward. My sitting up and sitting down, this is a press on my right stick, so that's when you press down on your right stick. This is a for sure must have when you're setting up your settings. You will use this feature a lot when you're riding. You'll use it basically how you would normally ride in motocross and all that stuff. And I'll show you later when I'm doing gameplay of how to ride that this comes in handy a lot. Not sure what direct does for sitting. You can try that, but I personally have not tried that. Dab, that's just of course a trick. I don't really think that's necessary to have. My reset button, so this will, if you crash or anything, or if you get stuck or whatever, this is my right upper bumper. If you press once, it resets you exactly where you are. If you hold down on it, it will reset you exactly where you were on the track, facing forward. Track marker, not sure what that does. I think it just sets a marker, and you just respawn to that every single time. I personally have not found that useful, but yeah. My change view is my back button, which is right below the little Xbox symbol. My look back button is Y. That's helpful to see if riders are coming up behind you or not. My heading, this is to turn your head left and right. Have that set up to my D-pad. And my tear off, this is to, if you're riding first person view, you will have dirt splatter onto your goggles, and so you need to rip your tear offs off. And so I set that up to my down button on my D-pad. My raise arm, this is just for communicating to other riders without typing in chat and all that stuff, and basically saying hi and stopping and all that stuff. So I set that up to up D-pad. My win gesture, that's just, of course, just a gesture. Set that to my start button. Complaint, angry gesture. Those are just tricks and stuff. Chat is T, and you normally need to use a keyboard to type in chat. You can't use your controller. And your trick is G. I personally have not set that up on my controller because I ran out of buttons. Input 3. This is for your replay camera. I don't really mess with this too much, so that's perfectly fine. And if you have a VR, you can set that reset button up there. Graphics, this is completely up to you and your computer and your specs in your PC. So just set this up to how you would with a normal game. This game isn't really graphics intensive, but so most PCs can run it, but some modded tracks take a lot of graphics and all that stuff, so you might need to turn some of those like 3D graphics down or something like that for it to not to lag in those modded tracks. MISC, this is your audio, your units, if you're metric, US or UK, your dating format, skipping intros, which there's really no intros in this game, your connection speed, your auto chats, you can set those up so if you want to say like sorry for 1, you can set that up if you accidentally hit someone. Yeah, you can set that up to whatever, 1 through 0. It's pretty nice to have so you don't have to type a complete sentence in chat. You can disable chat, 2D flags, and hide names. And then your last one is simulation. This is my setup for first person. I copied off another YouTuber and I personally love it. So my field of view is 105, my tilt is 8%, and my pitch is 10%. If you need to pause that and follow along, that's perfectly fine. Free look, this is just to look around and stuff. I personally have not set this up yet because I can't run it because I don't have any more buttons, so I just set it up to my mouse look. Corner anticipation, I'm not sure exactly what this does, but I believe this is not the stock settings, so if you need to change that you can. Lock to bike, that just unlocks you to your bike. Show HUD, this is really nice, shows you what gear you're in, and all that stuff, basically what your heads-up display really is. Show rider stand, this is very useful if you use first-person view. When you stand up, it will show a little icon at the bottom right next to your gear selector. It's very helpful. The only downfall is if you're riding in third person, you cannot see it. Besides, of course, when you're in third person, you can tell if your rider's sitting or standing. So yeah, there's no explanation for that one. And your riding aids. I turned lean help, automatic shift off, shift help. I left automatic clutch because sometimes I'm more focused towards my skilled riding, and when I shift, I personally just don't feel like dealing with the clutch. Traction help, brake help, your automatic lean stuff. I personally would not have those on. Those ruin the game, in my opinion. That just it's not a good setting to have on. But if you do want to have these other help settings on, go right ahead. I have no things against them. It's just I personally don't like to use it. Automatic tire change is useful, so you don't have to replace your tires when you return to the pits and all that stuff. But that is done for my settings. If you need to pause, go back through all that stuff to copy down my settings, that is completely okay. I will be doing some gameplay now and just kind of showing you how the riding is, and for just kind of a review of or not a review, an explanation of how to play this game basically for any newer people, and plus I'll do a review on how it is and all that stuff. So let me load into a track here and we'll see how it goes. Hey, I'm back here. I just wanted to show you guys the bike selections. So I have, of course, modded packs installed. So the most of the stuff that you will find in servers that you need to have installed is the OEM pack. I will have that linked into the description if I can help you guys out that way, so you can find that easier. I also have the Supermoto OEM pack. Um, you personally don't need this. I just like Supermoto and all that stuff, so that's why I installed it. And plus enduro bikes. And with all the bikes, you can install skins and all that stuff. Um, so a little guide is with MX1 OEM. That's going to be your 450s 4-strokes, and then the little 2T is going to be like your 250 2-strokes, and then your MX2 OEM is going to be your 250s 4-strokes. Your MX2 2T OEM is going to be your 125s, and sometimes your 150s, and I think that's it. For MX3 OEM, that's gonna be a Honda CR 500, and that's the only bike that's gonna be in the OEM pack. That is a really powerful bike. I would not recommend to start off on that bike. I'm currently trying to practice on the 250s, just because I haven't used them a lot. I used a lot of 250 2-strokes, and I used a lot of 450 4-strokes, and I'm just trying to up my skill on beating the crap out of 250s. Alrighty, I've loaded in to the track. I just want to get a few things out of the way. This will be event info, so this is just going to tell you your clear air times, all that stuff, which doesn't really need to be looked at really. Here's your lap times. I was just kind of practicing to kind of show an example of this showing up. This will show your lap times and all that stuff, your speed, when you hit the little marker. Track info, this gives you the track layout. So the whole shot's right here, and then this is the pit right here. Can't think of the word. Trainer, I'm not sure what this does. I haven't really messed with it. I don't think it's really important. This little button down here, you can inspect your bike. My bike is pretty dirty because I was riding around the track, testing it out a little bit. Settings, you can mess with all your settings in here, and all that stuff, which is kind of nice, which you cannot do in multiplayer, I believe so. Replays, you get to see all your replays and all that stuff that you did on the track. Your garage, this is basically where you could tune your suspension and all that stuff. So let's get to riding around the track. As you can tell, I am playing in the third-person view just so that you guys can kind of see a little bit, but I will change to first person just to give the feel of what it's like in this game. In this game, jumps are pretty realistic. You have to control everything through the air and all that stuff, and counter lean through corners. And you also have to stand and sit down and all that stuff. So you really have to stand when you hit jumps and all that stuff, and you really want to sit down when you're going high speeds and going through corners. As you can tell, I'm counter leaning right there, and I turned a little too much, but that's okay. Sorry if I'm not doing so well. I am just kind of trying to focus on trying to talk here and kind of review the game. And as you can tell, in the bottom right corner, that is my gear selector. It tells you what gear you're in and all that stuff. And that's very helpful, especially when you're cruising through the track, going pretty fast. As you can tell, going over those whoops, I had to, I personally like to stand up and lean back a little bit. Helps me get through those jumps a little bit, or not jumps, the whoops a little better. And you can do a lot of scrubs and stuff, or whips, as people would like to call them. I like to call them scrubs. Um, but yeah, the physics in this game is really nice. It's very realistic compared to MX versus ATV and MX GP games. Those games are more arcadic-like. Those don't really cater to realism or anything. And as you ride around the track, the ruts do get deeper as you keep getting through the track. But I'll cut to a different track to show more advanced jumps and all that stuff. Alrighty, I am back on a different map here, and I'll be showcasing the first person features and just a little bit more riding. I will be on a 450 F. This is going to be a 2020 Honda. I am playing on the Winchester MXOM app. This is personally one of my favorites just because this was the first track I got discovered to, and I just tested out so much that I just fell in love with it. As you can tell, I'm not used to the 450 power right now and the weight. When you do switch the bikes here, it does feel different with all your lean controls and all that stuff. The weight, power, and not really power, but the weight feels different. You have to lean a little bit more and kind of control your power through corners and stuff. As you can see here, I'm not doing the best because I'm more focused on talking right now, but we'll go into first person here. So this is the first option it gives you for first person view. I personally don't like being this close, but there's a second option that allows you to be more of like a helmet camera view. And as you can tell that I'm now standing up by the little icon at the bottom right, which I'll stand up here in a little bit as I go through the little whip section. One benefit with being in first person is it kind of helps you where you are through a corner to tell you if you're too low or too high off the ground or whatever. I used to use first person a lot, but then I slowly started leaning towards third person view just because it helps me out, especially on multiplayer tracks and all that stuff. But yeah, I still use first person view time to time, but I mostly prefer using third person now. And as you can tell, as my screen gets a little dirtier, that's what that tear off button does, is do it here when I get on the street. Helps you get all that dirt off your screen, and I don't know, this is kind of cool little feature that they added to the game. Like I mentioned, this game is still in beta, but I would still recommend it to anybody that's looking for a dirt bike game that is available on Steam, and you could get it on their website, but I got it through Steam because I saw it through like a deal thing or whatever. Can't remember what it was, but yeah, so I'll kind of ride around a little bit, kind of show off the track here in first person a little bit more, then I'll showcase how to install mods into the game if you're looking for it. So yeah, I'll just kind of mute my mic and let me ride around the track a little bit. Alrighty, I'm going to show in the next clip how to install mods such as tracks and bike mods. So let's get to it. Alrighty, welcome back. This part of the video will explain how to download mods and install mods here. So there's going to be two different ways you can install mods. You can go to the MX Bikes forums. It'll bring you to their landing page, which, as you can tell, there's many different places where you could go and talk to other people on the forums about everything. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, there's going to be mods. You got bikes, paints, other, tracks, track editing, plugins, and translations. Most likely you're going to be installing bikes and tracks, and sometimes paints are going to be like your skins for your bikes and riding gear. So we'll have the tracks and bikes page open. We're going to be installing the Redbud track here, so I know which one it is, so I'm just going to be typing it in Redbud at the top. It's going to say, probably depending on your situation, there's going to be many tracks pulled up for discussion, but Redbud download is going to be the top one. People sometimes will start threads to ask where a certain track is. Person will comment the actual link, click on the link, and I trust these people, especially with the link URLs are legit. So and it usually will take you to the MXB mods little information page. This is the track that I am looking for. If you scroll down, usually you'll find a download source, and to see if it's a credible click, you'll say 3,700 blah blah blah. Usually if it's a high number, that's what I trust. I don't trust low numbers because I don't know if it's a malicious file or anything, so I don't trust it until more people download it. But you'll click download now, and it will usually take you to a media file place, or sometimes people use Mega. From here, you just want to click download. I already have it downloaded for the sake of this video, and we'll get some bike mods installed. So we're going to be installing the OEM pack. Luckily, it is the most viewed pack because it's the most popular pack you need for multiplayer. So we'll click on it here. It's installation instructions, which I will go over. But yeah, there's going to be a, let's see, let me find it here. Oh, here we go. Here's the download link. So same thing goes for the tracks. It'll be a Mega or Mediafire. It's a big file, so it'll take a little while. And yeah, so I'll go through the installation steps for this, since I already have all these installed here. So what you want to do, I'll close all these here, is you want to go to File Explorer. You will want to go no matter what, if you install it through Steam or anything. This was the first time trying to install mods. I thought I could just go through the local files through Steam. That is not the case. No matter what, if you installed it through Steam or the website, you want to go through File Explorer, go to your documents, and right here where it says Placebo, you want to click on that, MX Bikes, Mods, and here's where you can install your bikes, rider, tracks, and tires. So we have the 2 zip files here. What we're going to do is you'll want to have 7-zip or WinRAR installed. Here is all the bikes that we're going to be installing. What you can do is, of course, grab and hold shift. Click on the top one. Click on top one. Scroll all the way down, hold shift, and stop right there, and that's, whoop, I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing there. But you left click and then you hold shift and click to the last one so you can install all these at once. And what you want to do is you're gonna drag it into bikes, and here's where all my bikes are installed. This will take a little while, so be patient about that. But yeah, and sorry here. And then if you're gonna install a track, you'll want to unzip it, and usually it's just this folder right here. This is all the information for it. So what you want to do is you want to go into tracks. Usually most of the tracks installed are going to be motocross. Sometimes it'll be supercross. There are enduro and supermoto tracks, but it's mostly going to be motocross or supercross. This track happens to be motocross, so you just drag and drop it into there, and this is where all my other tracks are installed. And that is one way to get mods and all that stuff. Another source of getting mods would be through the Discord server of MX Bikes. I will link it in the description. They're it's like back to what I was saying. This Discord server allows you to talk to other people that play the game, and they host events and all that stuff. If you go down to the modding, this is where you'd mostly find all the modding stuff, like all the tracks and stuff. You can just type in the search bar, and you can mostly find all the links and stuff if you can't find it on the forum. And yeah, that will basically conclude the installing the mods for MX Bikes. I do recommend the game for newer people. If you're trying to find a dirt bike game to play for free time and just play with friends and all the other people on the multiplayer servers out there. Alrighty, see you later.